Be looking at walking this graph today. So this is a CBR that we are working with. It's called a calculator-based ranger. It's a motion detector. And what it does is it uses sound waves to figure out where you're at. It says when we connect it to a graphing calculator, we can use this to collect and analyze some data. So as we are looking at this, what we are going to be doing is you're going to be standing first. If you notice on the floor back here, I have this tape. The tape is over here, is at 1 meter, 2, 3, and 4 meters away. So if you notice here, it says we're going to start standing at meter 1, facing away from the CBR and slowly walk 4 meters back. Then we're going to sketch that graph and describe the slope. Okay, so you're going to have two things that we're going to do. We are going to be looking at a graph. I would like you to put, as we are looking at this, our X is going to be time. And our Y is going to be distance. And because we have 4 meters marked off, we're going to have 1 meter, 2, 3, and 4. So when you see your graph, the tick marks, that's kind of what we're going to be looking at. And then after we look at that, we are going to look at what is our slope. And I want you to be thinking, is the slope positive or negative? And how fast is that person walking? But we're mostly going to be looking at describing the slope, like is it a positive or negative slope? Then in question 2, we're going to have a few people try this as we are doing it. Then we're going to have, the next one is we're going to have someone standing at the 4 meter mark. So kind of way over here, they'll be standing this far away. And they'll slowly walk all the way up to the 1 meter mark and stop. So again, we're going to sketch that graph. What is our graph going to look like? Again, we are going to have time as our X. And our time is going to be in seconds. So we wanted to put the label with that. And our distance that we are talking about is going to be in meters. And again, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this time we're going to be starting at 4. And then we want to look at the slope. So we're going to be sketching those graphs. The last one is going to have us stand at the 4 meter mark, quickly walk to the 1 meter, stop, and then look at the difference of those graphs. So what we're going to do, right, we were starting at 1. So by starting at 1, I need to have here. And as we looked at how they were walking those, we were looking something like this, right? Now, depending if you walk faster, right, yours is going to go steeper. And if we were walking slower, it was maybe something like this. So it says if we are looking at this, what is our slope? Our slope should be, as we are looking at that, positive or negative? Positive slope. Can you tell me where the y-intercept is? The B, the beginning, the y-intercept? Y-intercept was at 1, right? So we're going to now do this next one. We're going to start at the 4 meter, and we're going to go this time slowly towards the 1 meter mark. So at 4, right? And we wanted to walk down to 1, and then we stopped. So would it be okay if you drew that horizontal line going out from there? Yes. So what are our two slopes in this one? We have a negative slope, right? And then we have a 0 slope. This part is our 0 slope. This part is our negative slope when we are looking at that, when we were walking, right? So some people were walking much faster, and they came down like this, and then they had the 0 slope, and then if they walked back. So when we are walking for a positive slope, are we walking away or towards the motion detector when it's a positive slope, that first one? What were our people doing? They were walking away. So when it was a positive slope, right, we were going to walk away. Walk away from the motion detector, right? When it was a negative slope, what were we doing? We were walking towards it, the motion detector, right? We're going away from it. We're getting closer to the motion detector. The 0 was simply standing still, right? If you have a 0 slope, you are standing still, okay? When we are looking at that. So the last one says start at 4 meters, facing towards the CBR, quickly walk to the 1 meter mark, stop, and now we want to sketch that one. So we're going to look at that one, and then on the top of the next page, we're going to be looking at copying. Now the copying won't be exactly the same as these, but just looking at what we just talked about. So the CBR displays a graph comparing distance down here and our distance and our time. It says in this sample at the right, you see the x-axis represents time, the y represents distance. If we look at this graph, if we are walking here, this is our 1 meter, right? This is our 2, 3, 4 meters is here, right? Is the person walking forward or backward? Are they walking away from the motion detector, walking backwards, or walking towards it, forward? This one should be walking backwards first, right? You're walking away from it. You're starting where we are, way back here, and you're walking towards the front of the room. Is the person walking slowly or quickly? Quickly for this one, right? Quickly, if we think of that. If we think of our people when they were walking slowly, it kind of went way out like this, okay? So do they change speed or direction? Yes, they do both, right? They stop. It looks like they stop for, we're not sure what our time in seconds are, but like maybe almost 2 seconds, right? Stop for 2 seconds. And then they are walking forward, right? If we are looking at that one. And where did the person start at? Looks like 1 meter. Okay, so we're going to get some different ones. Some of them will look like this. Some of them will be inverted, like they might start this way, and they might go back and forth, and then you might see more straight lines. We are going to look at doing this last one, and I want you to just think as we are doing this one. So, Ashley, you're going to be up.